Hello, everyone, and welcome to Light, Heavy, Yes, No, and what questions are you asking? I'm going to be your host for today. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I am going to be sharing a lot of different tools with you. Majority of them are from Access Consciousness, and if this is your first time with me or with Access Consciousness, I just want you to know we're so grateful that you are here. And Access Consciousness is actually a set of tools. Some of them are verbal, some of them are hands-on, and they're really there to empower you to know what you know. And not what you think you know from the schooling that you went to, or from what your parents taught you growing up, or what your teachers taught you, but really your innate awareness, your knowledge, your knowing, your perceiving, your receiving, and allowing you to actually not just perceive it, but be able to utilize your own knowing to choose. And these amazing tools, yes, no, light, heavy, muscle testing, or all the other ways that you've been using to kind of communicate information with your body, information with your business, information in your life, they're all going to contribute. But for today, I wanted to actually share them from a different perspective and inquire, what is it that you actually know, and how have you been utilizing these tools? Because some of them, sometimes we think they're there as the answer and we already pre-planned them. So it really ends up being a different perspective than you asking from that real space of question and possibility, and allowing the universe, allowing your body, allowing the earth, allowing pretty much every molecule in the universe to be there and to assist you in providing you additional awareness and information. And I know some of you guys are actually listening to me in English, but some of you are on our translated languages. I want to thank you for that. Just know today's format is a little different. It's called a webinar. So you can see me, I cannot see you. But if you have questions, you can put it in the little toolbox on the bottom that says chat, and we can bring you up and you can ask the question. Because we're together for 1 hour, I may just be taking questions, just typing. So if you require translation with your questions, no worries. We've got amazing translators here ready to contribute. Now, the first one, if you guys are here from the Romanian line, we want to apologize. Our translation is going to have to be done and sent to you on the replay instead. You may not even understand I'm telling you this because your translator is not on the Zoom to be able to do that. They had some funny business going on with technology and they locked themselves out of the Zoom account. So that is getting even better. But the magic of these tools, we don't have to freak out. We just ask what else is possible. And, you know, sometimes it's a pain in the butt, but we just kind of keep moving on. And for all of you who are putting your little messages here, thank you so much. I'm very grateful for you. I'm very grateful that you guys chose to be here live, or you're watching this at a later time. These tools have been such a gift. I mean, not just for me, but for truly millions of people around the world who are utilizing the tools, and just by asking a question. And I wanted to get a different kind of conversation going, because this actually came out because we were talking about the tools, and the people that I play with, they're like, Laleh, you really need to share this information with the rest of the world, because most of us don't realize how much we're using the tools against us, how much we're using the tools with having a conclusion, having already a pre-planned future planned with it, than to truly be the questions. and allow us to get the knowing and the awareness and perceive that and choose from there. So I really have to thank the rest of the magical gaggle, dazzle, whatever you want to call them, that really came up with this particular theme for today. Now, with access consciousness, when we ask questions, what we're actually doing is we're allowing the energies of things that you didn't even know existed, locking things in place, holding things in place. We actually expose it. We give it consciousness by asking the question, and we allow whatever is hidden to uncover itself, to come out, and allow you to become more aware of what it is. And then what if you don't have to hold on to it anymore? We have this, what we call a clearing statement. And for like 15 to 20 minutes of details and explanation, you can go to theclearingstatement.com, and they'll be happy to, Dr. Dane here will be happy to give you a whole overview of it. But for me, I'm going to give you kind of the shortcut version. What happens is you ask a question. Information comes up. It could be thoughts, feelings, emotions, projections, expectations, all this impelled beingness on it, anything that has to do with anything that's hiding underneath, okay? So whatever that was, anywhere you bought this is real, you sold it is real, and then it exposes itself energetically. And that energy sometimes could be felt in the body or perceived to be like heaviness, okay? Or it could be that just something comes up and you're like, I'm angry, or whatever's coming up. That is really unraveling itself because it's allowing you to have a different perspective. It's allowing you to choose something different. So after the question, we say right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So it's like anywhere, anytime you've made this right or wrong, good or bad, anywhere you made any of this be that you had to hold on to it from the moment it got created or the moment it got destroyed, anywhere you took this little thing and you made it be this huge snowball and all those nucleated spheres that got created along the way with it, or any of the beyonds, you know, those moments where you saw something or someone said something that just put you in this gasping for air moment. It really just unravels all of that. So this whole light, heavy, yes, no, what is it? I know you guys have all been using it. Renetta says, I have to confess that sometimes when the light and heavy is not clear, I get frustrated, and of course I use another tool. But why? When why is X question? I don't know. Oh, yes. So you guys, if you do have any Romanian participants here, they can write the question. So thank you so much for writing that. And if you could also write in there, like, we apologize that that one's not available, but right now, just what else is possible? I wonder what they're already receiving energetically. Renata, before I get to your question, let me just start with light and heavy, okay, guys? So when you start to get out of, like, I have to have the answers and everything's in my head, you know, that's how we grew up. When you're a child, you're not up here. Or are you? Were you? Think about it. You were 1, 2, 3. Were you thinking? Or is that something we learned at home and at school? Like, we had to think. Like, when you were in class and you had a math problem, like, how often were you like this fast to come up with the answer? But then you had to show your work. You had to prove what you knew, okay? So most of us start, not most, all of us, we start with energy. We start with being a baby and crying. But with crying, your family eventually figures out from the sound, the squishiness of your sound, parents, after a while, get to perceive what their babies require. The guessing game kind of goes away, even though sometimes you still do, because you like to just fuck with your family. What can I say? It's just fun. You do it a lot when you're a baby. But we start with the willingness to ask for what we desire. You wanted a diaper change? Yeah, you let your family know that. You were hungry? You let your family know that. You wanted a walk? Yeah, you had to cry for that too. And somewhere along the way, then we had to outcreate the way that we would ask for things. So I'm actually going to invite you guys to everything that you gave up, going from a child to being an adolescent to then becoming an adult, and what the world had to look like for you to be able to communicate to the world, and all the places you shut off, you being you and sharing what you desire in the world. For all of that, can we just, for the hour we're together, say, you know what? What if we can erase it? Everything you chose to give up, what if we could just erase it just by saying, okay, now I let that go. I'm going to destroy and create everything I chose at that moment. And now I'm going to actually allow me to choose. I'm going to allow me to still ask for what I desire. Anything that doesn't allow that, can we now destroy and create all of that? Now I'm going to say those clearing words: right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And instead, okay, so you're a child, you ask. How you ask depended on you. You got older, you had to think things through. So then questions became more of, I'm asking a question when I already have it all figured out. And then somewhere along the way, you come to an Access Consciousness class, an event, a bars class, an event like this, and you're like, wait, I don't have to have it all figured out anymore. Instead, now I have tools guiding me on what works for me. What is really light? What is really heavy? Now, light and heavy is one of the first tools that you learn in Access, because it's the starting point to allow you to get out of your head, start to have a different relationship and communion and communication with your body, and allow you to tap more into your knowing than your head. And so light and heavy is one of the first tools that you learn. But a lot of times, for you to start to build that muscle of light and heavy, a lot of times, some people, maybe not you, start to actually recreate thinking what the answer should be. So they're like, oh, I want to add this to my life. So I ask a question. Is it light? Is it heavy? Okay. Did you notice that? That had a lot of conclusions already set in stone there. The light and heavy is meant to guide you when you're neutral, when you actually have no point of view. So I'm going to ask you guys, as we're together today, tap into your body and let your body guide you. Okay? Now, my favorite thing in the world is to connect our bodies, say communion with the body and the earth. So just by you thinking about your body, you become more present with your body. Now wiggle your toes. Wiggle them. You just now became not only present with your toes, but can you now, I don't know, do you perceive anything, tingling, anything going on there? You now are also connecting with the earth. So there's this communion with you, your body, the earth. And when I say you, I mean you are not your magical body, okay? You're actually this infinite being that is the infinite size of space, energy, and consciousness. Everything about you is infinite. Your body is this shape and size, okay? But you are so much bigger. And when you're connecting you, your body, and the earth, it's not just from here, but you also allow that connection and the earth coming up your body. Okay, did you notice anything? From this space, I now invite you guys that when we ask a question, whether you perceive light or heavy, do it from that space, not from here. Include your head, include your body, include your legs, but also allow it to go beyond. Okay? Yeah. Ellie, can you please type your question here in the chat for me? I'm not sure if I'm going to bring anyone live to actually facilitate them because we don't have a lot of time today. But you're welcome to put in the chat. Okay, so light is usually just what it is, light. It's expansive. It's more like this, like breath. Now, sometimes you perceive it in your whole body. Sometimes it's just like a joy in your body. It's going to be different for each of us. Heavy, yeah, I think we've all experienced that, right? When you saw someone or something or went somewhere or you're about to go somewhere and it was like that knot in your stomach. Now, you may not experience it that way. The knot in the stomach is something I perceive. You're going to have to see what that is for you. But heaviness is usually more constricted energy. It's usually more like this. And where light is just usually more expansive. Heavy is more like that red stop, like your body says, stop, don't do that. It just means that it's not resonating with you. Might resonate with your mother, might resonate with your lover, but may not resonate with you. Now, would you guys be willing, everything you've defined as light, everything you've defined as heavy, everything you've defined as one is right, one is wrong, can we let that go? Can we now just destroy and create all those projections, expectations, decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations that we have made about what it is, what it's not, and just let it go? So I have an anonymous question here. How to feel more light and heavy in the body? Can the heavy one be the light one too? That's a great question. It depends on your points of views. So for example, if you have, well, I wonder what changed with the clearing that I did, because the clearing that I did allows you to actually let go whatever definitions you had before. One tool that I love to use is to ask my body, hey body, will you show me light? Will you show me heavy? Because then you're out of your mind and out of your head. And now it's more of this communication of what's going to work with you and your body. And when I do that, I've noticed the light and heavy are not as significantly different. Like they actually have a very mild difference between them. Heavy, a lot of times, is also what you have defined something is not true for you. That's why I said something that's light and heavy for you may not be what it is for others in your life. And it may change for you. But at first, it's an amazing tool. You learn it because it's like, then you start to actually perceive things more for you. But it really has to come from an interesting point of view. So everything that you're asking a question about, before you do the light and heavy, say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view, and say it 10 times, whatever that is. Like whoever you are, anonymous, I'm not sure because it doesn't say who you are. But if you could, whatever it is that you're asking the question about, like, should I take this job? Or, whatever your question is that you're getting this light and heavy. Say, interesting point of view, I have this point of view about, and then fill in the blank. And when you do, you'll notice when you no longer are in your head, the light and heavy can actually give you a whole new level of information. Not that it's good that you choose it or it's bad that you choose it, but more from the place of allowing the future to give you information energetically. Then you can say, okay, like let's say you were looking at a job, okay? You're like, okay, I have these 2 jobs. Which one will be greater for me? Which one will create greater in my life? And then you do interesting point of view. I have this point of view about this job. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about this job, and do it 10 times. The reason 10, I don't know, do it 100. But after you do it a few times, you literally start to get out of your head. So it's no longer an emotional reaction and an emotional way of receiving information. Now you step into your knowing. Okay, so now you have these 2 jobs, right? Then when you have that neutral space, then you could say, okay, the first job, if I choose this job, what will my life be like in 5 years? If I don't take this job, what will my life be like in 5 years? And really start to perceive those energetic whispers of the future, giving you the light and heavy. Now, I've got to tell you, when you do it from no point of view, that light and heavy may seem possibly extreme, light and heavy, or it might be this little whisper of difference. Because now it's about choice. It's no longer about getting the right answer and taking the right job. Okay? Now, from a different perspective, okay? If I take this job, what will my life and the world be like in 5 years? Then you invite you and also to start to perceive how your choice not just creates for you, it's always creating something, but it's creating for you and the world, because all our choices do. But what you also do is you invite the earth, you invite the universe, you invite consciousness, you invite the people that can also come and contribute to this. Not always physically, it could be energetic. But when you invite the world, your world energetically will expand. So this light and heavy, if you already have something figured out, just know it's not going to give you true awareness. It can only guide you to what you've defined as the answer has to be. So if you decided you like the first job better than the second job, everything will lean to be heavy about the second job. You will create the outcomes. And that is not really asking questions and allowing the awareness to guide you. Now you're allowing your head to guide you. Okay? Now, something else. We have this yes-no universe. Okay? And the yes-no is like awareness. It's like boom, fast. Anytime you are waiting for an answer for 5 minutes or 2 seconds or whatever, just know you went from awareness to conclusion. Now you're trying to define. The yes-no universe is really about awareness and boom. So once again, if you already have it predefined, I like the first job, I don't like the second job, the yes, no, you will tweak it to fit into what you want it to be. So let's talk about the same thing if you have the jobs. If I take this job, what will my life, or you could even just say, take the job, yes, no. Take the second job, yes, no. And you'll notice, you can even have someone assist you with this, but they have to have no point of view because you're psychic. You will pick up anything that's projected in their mind too. So have someone ask you that question and see what you get. Yesterday I did a call. It's called Awareness versus Conclusion. And it was so interesting. I got a lot of emails. Actually, people ended up messaging me afterwards and just how grateful they were for the class, but also the awarenesses that they received. They realized how many places they kept saying my awareness, and they were following their quote awareness. It was all conclusions. It was all the things they had defined in their head of what the answer should have been. So this awareness versus conclusion is this very, very, I don't know how to say the word, but like awareness is like a breath. It's like breathing. It has no thinking. It's immediate. The minute you think, you're no longer in awareness. You're now in conclusion. So what in your life have you been identifying as awareness when it's actually conclusion? And would you be willing to now choose something different? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, all right. So we have some questions here. Okay, so even with Renetta, I'm curious about your question. Did anything change in your question since we've been chatting the last half hour? And go with yes, no. Yes, no. How much fun can you guys have? Actually stop thinking and really go with the knowing, because knowing is so fast. Okay, Cleopatra. By the way, I love your name, Cleopatra. I mean, how does it get better? Okay, Renetta says yes. Cool. Cleopatra says, I perceive that if I didn't lower my barriers and I'm not present with my body, I'm not sure about my question. Does our body need to calibrate or update when it's heavy or light? That's such a great question. Your body actually has no point of view. Your body is this magical magician best friend, okay? And your body is there to, you as an infinite being don't really require a lot of things. You have a lot of points of views from before, you know, but you, like some of the things that the body requires, the being doesn't really require, but together you get to experience them. Like the sun, when the sun is shining, if you didn't have a body, like you wouldn't be able to do this, you know, like just a touch. Having that sunshine ray on you and your body, actually it's your body who's assisting you in you perceiving that. Your body feels, you sense, okay? You sense things, you perceive things, you have a knowing. The feeling is a different harmonic that's linked to your body. Now, your body likes to give you lots of information, and it also wants to let you know how amazing you are, wants you to know how brilliant you are, wants you to know the capacities and abilities that you actually have. So the body will will find ways to try to share that information with you. And when you're doing the light and heavy, like I said, if you're in your head, you're no longer listening to what your body's actually gifting. And your body also partners with the earth, partners with your business, partners with just really every molecule. And it's there to share information with you. So like even asking if, you know, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? What it is like the whispers of that future are giving you that information that you and your body are receiving. And you could do it from the light, the heavy, the yes, the no. And some people, I'll tell you, for them, they do the muscle testing. Before I started with Access, muscle testing was so much fun for me. But I realized how much I was using muscle testing with pre-planned answers. Like if I wanted to buy something, I'd be like, oh, if I buy you, will you make me money? Like, and then I would do the muscle test. But then I realized later how much I was in my head asking, and some things, yes, some things was really good. I wasn't in my head, but then other things I was in my head and skewing the muscle testing that I was doing. So like with all of it, it's building the muscle. None of them are right, none of them are wrong, but it's just find what is it that works for you and your body and ways that you guys communicate with each other. So Renetta says, can I ask to my body to be clear and kind? Okay, sure you can. Now, okay, your body is kind. Your body doesn't have a mean bone. I don't know how to say that, but like your body is the one with no point of view. You, my magician friend, have the points of views. So when you're not being kind, it's actually you, not the body. So, you know, whatever it is that you think isn't being kind, can you ask it a different question? Like you can ask your body, like your body doesn't know easy or hard. Your body just knows, hey, what's the fastest, easiest way for us to dissipate and release this? And so like, let's say you ate something and your body's like, hey, this doesn't work. Let's get this thing out fast. And you can throw up, you'll vomit, you'll have diarrhea, and it's fast, okay? But your body has no point of view of vomit or diarrhea, if that makes any sense, okay? Now, if you're willing to be interesting point of view, that's that neutral space, that interesting point of view, and just go into the question, body, what information are you sharing with me with this energy? What are you sharing with me with the throw up or the diarrhea? And you stay neutral, meaning you don't say it's right, it's wrong, and start to get mad. It actually will dissipate and release very quickly. And you can ask, hey, body, I know you're trying to give me information, but can you do it in an easier way for me? Because then you also no longer do it the way your body thinks that it is easy. It'll do it the way to be easy for you. Are there other ways, body, you can give me this information? And so, yeah. And then Renetta says the intensities. See, okay, I'm going to share with you guys. I know this is like a quick intro, so I'm trying not to go too complex in the concepts, but intensity is actually one of the gifts that you keep hiding. So when your body is intense, it's because your body's showing you a gift that you have that maybe you've bastardized or you made it wrong. So with the intensity, a lot of times it's that you're holding back your capacities, you're holding back your abilities and talents. And when your body shows you, it's saying, hey, this thing that you think is pain is actually where you can contribute even greater to the world. This thing that you think is bad about us is one of our superpowers. So if you're willing to flip it, and where you've made the intensity be a wrongness, just say, okay, everything I've identified as this energy, everything I've labeled as intensity, I now destroy and create all of it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pun, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And then ask, whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to make this energy be a wrongness? And say that as many times as you need to, because somewhere you've made it be that you either aligned and agreed or resisted and reacted to an energy. Everything is energy. Your energy, space, and consciousness. Everything in the world has energy. And it could have been that one day you were like so expanded and you were so intense, but you were like, you know, just excited, jumping around, doing something, saying something. And your mom, your grandma, your aunt, your teacher, somebody said, "You're too intense. Stop it. Don't be that." So then we made that energy of what we were being a wrongness. But that's one of your gifts. That's the way you change things, not just change people, but you alter molecules to have a greater possibility. So anywhere, at any age, and from any lifetime, where you were made wrong for you being you being the energies, the intensity, the sensualness. Hold on. It was funny. Zoom just paused my recording. That was really weird. All right. So from any lifetime, space, dimension, reality, where you chose to hide, limit, or stop the energies that you truly be, we now destroy and create all of it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pun, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That was so funny. At that most intense moment, this thing went on pause. Not happy about that. Zoom. Okay, cool. But do you get that? It is like, as children. Okay, so I want to talk about sensualness, because as soon as I said that, it paused. So sexualness is not sex. Sexualness is feeling alive, okay? It's actually like connecting to the earth. It's receiving from the sun. It's this nurture, caring, the ease of you actually receiving from everything, okay? And it's something that we be from children, like we just are connected to everything, connected to the trees and the earth, but we're connected to kindness and joy. Okay, so when I'm talking about sexualness, that's what I'm talking about. And feeling alive, that actually comes with sexualness and sensualness. So anywhere you chose to give up your intensity, or you being all of you for any reason, for anyone, will you now destroy and create it? Right, wrong, good and bad, pun, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, Cleopatra, thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. She says, you're an awesome contribution to all of us and the planet. Thank you so much. Well, first, I want to thank you for being here, and thank all of you guys. This light and heavy, yes and no, boy, man, I was tapping into the energy of this all around the world. And I even had to walk and go say hello to the trees today, because there was just so much energy of it. So like, there's so much wrongness in the world of us listening to our own awareness and having our own knowing. And I'm just going to invite you guys, that you think we're just having a 1-hour conversation together, but I'm actually inviting you to energies way beyond the words that I'm sharing. And really play with this. Like, if you're willing to be vulnerable, okay, really vulnerable with yourself, not what you think these questions should actually be, you're going to find every single moment that this whole light and heavy and yes and no have a whole new world to be experienced with them if you have no point of view. So all the points of views you bought, sold, any lies that you picked up along the way, can we now destroy and create all of them? Right, wrong, good and bad, pun, pock, all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Renetta says, oh, I'm having an awareness. I'm shutting up myself because of the intensities. Wow, sometimes the light and heavy are a lot of energy here. Okay, cool. So just know, okay? Remember, awareness was that tip of a second. The minute you thought about what that awareness is, you now have gone into the world of conclusion, okay? So it's cool to get information, but don't lock it up by turning it into a conclusion. Because when you go to the conclusion, you now don't allow other awarenesses information to come in, because you're saying, now I know it's just me shutting up myself. So everything you just defined and concluded, can we destroy and create all of it? Right, wrong, good and bad, pump, pock, all night, shorts, boys, beyonds. What you want to do with awareness and information is really stay in the question. So like you perceive something, okay? Like you perceive, okay, I've been holding my voice back. Then you can say, okay, now what's available? How can I use this energy to my advantage? What else is possible with this energy? Everywhere I aligned and agreed, resisted and reacted to this energy, I now destroy and create all of it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pun and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. How can I use this energy to create greater now? How can I use it to my advantage? Because then you allow right and wrong, good and bad, pun and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now you allow that energy that you were perceiving not to stop. You allow it to keep expanding, exponentializing. When we conclude, we stop the forward motion. Then we have to lock it to fit into this reality. But the whole thing is, when you're asking questions, you're allowing you to perceive information beyond this reality that really generates and creates and actualizes the possibilities, that allows you to actually have the miracles that happen, the speed of space instead of the speed of light. You move to a whole new world. But the minute you go into conclusion, you now stop it. So everything you've defined, concluded, computed, and all those stratifications and reference points, will you now destroy and create all of it? Right, wrong, good and bad, pump, pock, all night, shorts, boys, beyonds. Okay, wait. Okay, Paulo, I think I missed a part of your question because you wrote it earlier. You said, it happens when I ask if I want to eat this. By the way, that's funny. I visualize different things when I read your question, but like when you say, if I want to eat this, that means you as the infinite being. The infinite being doesn't eat. Your body is eating. You influence what goes in your body, you as the being and your points of views. So what if you were willing to also look at it from a different space and ask, body, are you hungry? Yes, no. 99% of the time, guys, okay, you have so much more space with you and your body, but you, as a child or at another moment in your life, you concluded based on someone saying, oh, you feel this way, therefore you must be hungry, that you associate it. Or you must eat 3 times a day. You need 3 meals to be healthy. So all this information that came to you, you then associate to what you have to do. But in reality, your body is very different than anybody else's body. Like my body, my blood pressure is 90/60 normally, okay? Even when I had my pregnancy with my twins, the doctor was like, who are you? Like your blood pressure doesn't go up. And if mine was the normal in this reality, which is 120/80, I would die. If my blood pressure was 120/80 all the time, I probably wouldn't be alive. I would be alive. My body wouldn't be. So you have to ask your body what it desires and not assume everything you learn from others applies to you. And this is where you really have to go into the interesting point of view. Like everything you've been eating, chances are you are not eating for you. The amount of food that we require is very different. Our bodies really like energy. They like space. And the minute you ask one question, what you do is you open up the space, you open up your awareness. So how much more space can you and your body occupy not to be impacted, affected, or impinged by other people's universes, insanities, stupidity, and judgments? And anything that doesn't allow that, we destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good and bad, punpak online shirts, boys and beyonds. Okay, now notice, did you notice you and your body any difference? Because when you are infinite, right? Okay, infinite, your body, this magical body, can also have more space. You can have more ease. And like Renetta was saying, those intensities, okay? What if you'd be willing to add more space to you and your body during those moments of intensity? Or all the time, but that's just for you to know. But when you keep adding more space, what you do is you allow your awareness to skyrocket. So when you're being more space, you are also not affected by the information you're receiving, by the awarenesses that you're getting, and asking even allowance, exceed my awareness, allowance, exceed my awareness, allowance, exceed my awareness. You allow you to still receive information and awareness, but now it doesn't have to affect you. But the intensities, guys, it's one of the ways your body's showing a strength, a superpower you have that you haven't acknowledged. And when you start to actually acknowledge, you'll notice it'll change because you're no longer making it be a wrong thing. Okay, so Paulo says that if I'm hungry, my yes, no is twisted. Okay, interesting point of view first, Paulo, because if you think that, you will create it to be twisted. Now, okay, so this is where we would start and just say, interesting point of view. I have a point of view about my hunger. Is it still your hunger or is it your body's hunger? I'm just wondering, because that alone could give you weird messages. Your body is not you. You are not your body. When you're in your body, there's this communion, there's this communication, there's this embodiment, also with the earth and with the molecules. So you really have to be clear. Body, do you require to eat? Do you require to drink? Do you require walking? What do you require, body, is a great question, and not to assume you have to eat. And then allow your body to guide you. Now I'm going to tell you what you've been eating as your meal to fill up, chances are too much food. 90% of the food we consume by mouth, our body does not require. Carmen, thanks for raising your hand. I really need you to actually put your question in the chat here. There's a Q&A section and there's also a chat. You can put it on either one. I'm not bringing anyone, because we're like only 10 more minutes to go. I'm not bringing anyone to actually facilitate live, but I'm happy to take your question. Okay. Let's see, hold on. Okay, so Paulo, so let's talk to your body, okay? So truth, what information has your body been desiring to gift to you that you have been misidentifying and misapplying as hunger? That applies to all of you, not just Paulo. So what awareness do you get, Paulo? What information pops up? And feel free to have your Coke. My Coke is required. I need to relax. Isn't that interesting? Okay, thank you first, body, for the information. And thank you, Paulo, for receiving the information your body just gifted you. I'm telling you, 90% of the time we think we have to eat, it's actually your body's usually saying more space, more water. When our cells in our bodies are dehydrated, a lot of times the symptoms are very similar to hunger. And also when the more question you ask and there's more energy and more space, usually what ends up happening is that you think you're hungry. But it usually started as a child, like your parents saying, hey, you must be hungry. You've been running around or whatever. So it's this energy that's been impelled on you to when you're supposed to eat and what you're supposed to eat and all of that stuff. And being at home, you know, we're all quarantined, all different places. I'm here in Portugal still. And a lot of times, like I'll notice what I perceive as hunger has so far been my body saying move. Not hunger, but move. Like get off, stop being on the computer and go for a walk. So like I really wonder, yeah, that's also why I used to smoke. To relax, you mean? Yeah, but don't make, okay, so here's the key thing, guys. A lot of people will say to you, smoking's bad. Okay, don't smoke. I used to be one of them. In this lifetime, I've never smoked and I didn't enjoy it. And my dad was on a mission to get everyone to stop smoking. And for a long time, me too. I was mimicking my father. But bodies love different things. And some bodies love to smoke. And if you don't make it a wrongness and you don't judge yourself for it, your body will tell you what it actually requires. I've found some people like they smoke a few times and they get all sorts of illnesses. And then there's others who smoke and really enjoy it and never have any health problems. So your point of view will create your reality, which means that whatever you think has to happen, even if it's subconscious, even if it's that energy underneath what you're thinking, that's actually what's creating your life and living. So the smoking or not eating certain things like chocolate or whatever, like when you let go your point of view, you'll realize it doesn't affect you anymore. And you'll also notice your habits will change. This whole light, heavy, yes, no, if you're willing to actually use it to your advantage with no point of view, can be one of the greatest gifts. Because then your body will guide you. No, I'm not hungry. Let's go for a walk. Yeah, I'm hungry. Feed me. And ask your body, what would you like? When I first came to Access, this was one of the most intriguing things for me was I've always been very connected to my body. Like I knew the minute I was pregnant, I knew the minute the egg split in two, I had twins. Like I've known a lot of stuff with this magical body. But one of the things that I realized is that there's this natural knowing that we have. So it may not be that you're asking it out loud or cognitively, but your body's continuously giving you information. And when I first came and I started to really pay attention to the tools of Right Body for You, I realized when I really was interesting point of view asking my body a question, and when I had a hidden agenda, like those conclusions. Like they weren't cognitive, but they were the hidden reasons I was asking my body stuff. And then when I started to, and by the way, this is not destination. This is something like every day you work on it and you get a different communication with your body. It's not like once you get it and then don't have to worry about it anymore. It's this continuous relationship and communion with your body. But one of the things I realized is how much more fun and ease it was eating and not getting to that heavy feeling or feeling sick or anything. It was that moment of wearing clothes and like it just felt like it just wasn't even on my body. It just felt so light. You know those moments when you've worn clothes in the morning and it felt tight, even though it fit the day before or a year before, whatever. It's those moments your body's saying, don't wear it. So for me, what I started to do was I spent a lot more time because I was there asking the question, not being the question, but asking the question. And I would open the closet and I'd be like, body, pants? Yes, no. No. Okay. Skirt? Yes, no. Dress? Yes, no. Whatever. Like I would just ask a question. And then I realized if I'm willing to ask with no point of view, my body gives me exactly what it requires, what's fun for us, what's ease for us. And if you're willing to get out of the having to get the answer right and be willing to play and be that creative, curious you, it's amazing. Whether it's business, whether it's your eating, whether it's your clothing, whether it's investing your money, whatever it is, if you do it from that space of creativity and curiosity, it's amazing what gets created. So anywhere you're still trying to figure out if you got the right answer with the light and heavy, the good and bad, would you be willing to destroy it and create all that? Right, wrong, good and bad, pumpak, all night, shorts, boys and beyonds. None of it is ever going to be right. And none of it's ever going to be wrong. It's just one of the tools that you get to play with. And if you're willing to get it wrong, because that means you're not trying to get it right, it'll be more fun. And you get 10 seconds of choice. You can try it. If you don't like it, try something else. But it's this evolving exploration. You're most welcome. Yeah. Well, Renetta says, expanding would help to have more clarity that if light or heavy is our answer or not another's answer. I think once again, what if you're still trying to figure it out with your head? Because if you're willing to still be for someone else, you can ask, who does it belong to? Mine, someone else, something else. And then the next question is, how can I use this to my advantage? Even if you're receiving awareness and information about other people, what if you could use that energy and information to your advantage? But when you think you have to get it right for you, you've just boxed it. You've now limited it. You've now concluded it, and you now made it apply to the rules and regulations of this reality, which is linear. You take away all the magic. But if you're willing to be creative, curious, just play, you'll realize, ooh, I'm aware of what others require. How can I use that to my advantage? What can I create in my business that allows me to also make money from this? Expand the business with this. There's a whole new world if you're willing. Okay. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being here. Oh, I adore you too, my friend. Yeah, you might. She says she'll be listening to the recordings again. I'm so grateful for all of you that joined live and all of you that are joining in the future. And whether you were on the language Zooms or on the English or wherever you were, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. And, I'd love for you to join. In the follow-up email, you'll have it. If you want to learn more, let us know. And what else is possible you've never even considered before? And how does it get any better than this? Because with any tool you're using, those two questions can really create a future beyond this reality. Oh, Picanho, her dog was there sending hugs too. Well, hello. Thank you so much. I love it when animals come and play. And thank you to the amazing translators. Yay, translators! Thank you so much for the gift that you be.
Thank you, Laleh.
Until next time. All right, you guys.
Laleh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Спасибо, спасибо. До
Спасибо.
свидания, до следующих встреч.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Спасибо. Пока-пока.
Paka, paka. We can stop our recordings, guys.
録音止めますね。
そう